Baby in the Womb, the full journey from conception to birth, an educational 3D medical animation. What if you could witness the very beginning of life? In this educational 3D medical animation, we explore the extraordinary journey from a single microscopic cell to a fully developed baby. From fertilization to birth, this is the complete story of human development inside the womb, explained clearly, scientifically, and visually. Whether you're a student, parent, or simply curious about how life begins, this is the ultimate guide to fetal development. The beginning of life. Every human life begins with a single moment, fertilization. It starts with ovulation, when an egg is released from the ovary and travels into the fallopian tube. This egg survives for only a short window of time, waiting for one critical event. If a sperm successfully penetrates the egg, their genetic material merges. In that instant, a brand new organism is formed. This first cell is called a zygote. Inside the zygote is the complete DNA blueprint for an entire human being: eye color, height potential, even certain personality traits. Life has officially begun. The first days, rapid division. Within hours, the zygote begins dividing. One cell becomes two, two become four, four become eight. This rapid cell division continues as the tiny structure travels towards the uterus. Despite being invisible to the naked eye, an incredibly complex process is already unfolding. Each new cell carries the same genetic instructions, working in perfect coordination. By day 5, the developing structure becomes a blastocyst, a hollow sphere of cells with a fluid-filled center. This marks the first major milestone of early development. Implantation, the start of pregnancy. The blastocyst now reaches the uterus and attaches itself to the uterine lining. This process is called implantation. Once implantation occurs, pregnancy officially begins. From this point forward, development accelerates dramatically. The embryonic stage. During the first 8 weeks, the developing human is called an embryo. This is one of the most important phases of prenatal development because nearly all major organs begin forming now. The neural tube develops into the brain and spinal cord. The heart begins beating surprisingly early, often around week 5. Tiny buds appear where arms and legs will grow. Even though the embryo measures only millimeters, the foundations of the entire body are already being built. This stage is extremely sensitive, which is why early prenatal care is so important. A rapid transformation. By week 8 or 9, the embryo undergoes dramatic changes. Facial features begin forming, the beginnings of eyes, ears, and a mouth become visible. The heart is pumping blood through a developing circulatory system. At this stage, the transformation is astonishing. In just weeks, the embryo has gone from a single cell to a complex, multi-system organism. And this is only the beginning. Transition to fetus. Around week 9, a major shift happens. The embryo becomes a fetus. This marks the transition from formation to growth. Now, instead of building new structures, the body focuses on refining and strengthening what already exists. Fingers and toes separate. Muscles begin small, involuntary movements. The skeleton starts transitioning from cartilage into bone. Although still very small, the fetus now has a recognizably human form. The second trimester, growth and movement. The second trimester is often described as a period of rapid growth and increasing stability. During this time, the fetus grows significantly in size and strength. The skeleton hardens, skin layers develop, hair follicles begin forming. One of the most exciting developments is movement. The fetus begins stretching, turning, and kicking, movements that many mothers start to feel for the first time. These early motions are essential for muscle and joint development and help prepare the body for life outside the womb. Sensory development. As the nervous system matures, the fetus begins developing sensory awareness. By mid-pregnancy, the ears can detect sound vibrations, the eyes respond to light, the brain begins organizing sleep cycles. Some research suggests that babies may recognize familiar voices before birth. This stage highlights how quickly the brain develops, forming millions of neural connections that will support learning and memory later in life. The final trimester, final preparation. The final trimester is the final stretch before birth. Now the focus shifts towards survival outside the womb. The fetus gains weight rapidly as fat accumulates under the skin. This fat will help regulate body temperature after birth. Meanwhile, the lungs undergo critical maturation. Although breathing air hasn't started yet, the lungs practice the motions needed for life outside the womb. The brain also enters a phase of rapid growth, becoming more complex and developed with each passing week. By the final weeks, most babies naturally rotate into a head-down position, preparing for delivery. Preparing for labor. As the due date approaches, both the baby and the mother's body begin preparing for labor. Hormonal signals trigger a series of changes. The cervix softens and begins to dilate, the uterus becomes more sensitive to contractions, the baby settles deeper into the pelvis. At this stage, nearly all organs are fully formed. The baby is now ready for the outside world. The moment of birth. Labor begins with rhythmic uterine contractions that gradually become stronger and more frequent. These contractions help guide the baby through the birth canal in a carefully coordinated process. As labor progresses, the cervix dilates, the baby rotates, the head begins to emerge. Then comes the defining moment, the first breath. For the first time, the lungs expand with air instead of fluid. Circulation patterns shift, and the newborn begins independent life. This is the moment of birth. Why this journey matters. The transformation from a single fertilized cell into a fully developed human being is one of the most complex processes in biology. Every second, millions of cellular events occur in perfect synchronization. Understanding this journey helps us appreciate the precision of human development, the importance of prenatal health, and the resilience of life itself. Modern medical visualization allows us to explore this hidden world in ways never before possible, turning the invisible into something we can truly understand. Final thoughts. From conception to birth, the journey of life is nothing short of extraordinary. It begins with a single fertilized cell carrying the blueprint of a human being. Over the course of pregnancy, that cell divides, specializes, and transforms into a newborn ready to enter the world. This remarkable process reminds us that life is not just a moment, it's a journey measured in heartbeats, growth, and transformation. And it all begins long before we take our first breath.